In this video, we are going to be working on the Term 3 scope for social sciences, which is also called geography. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead and start working on it. So we know that under week 1, as we can see on the screen, we can see that our first topic, or the topic that we are going to be covering first, will be rural settlements. And under rural settlements, we can see that we are told, or we are being told that we need to understand the types of rural settlements, which may include isolated farmsteads and hamlets together with village. And we are also told to understand various economic activities, which may include farming, mining, forestry, and fishing. And we are also told that there will be an introduction of the project for submission later in the term, meaning that the project that they are talking about will be based on this topic, which is rural settlement. And if we move to week 2 and week 3, we can see that under week 2 and week 3, we will be covering one topic, meaning that the topic that we'll be covering under week 2, we will also be covering it under week 3. And the topic is called urban settlement. So if you check carefully, you can see that we start with rural and then we come to urban. Okay, so under urban settlement, we will start by understanding the land use within urban settlements, and this may include the central business district and zones for light and heavy industry. And under week 3, we can see that we have residential areas, which may include high and middle together with low income. And here we also see that we will also cover shopping centers together with services and recreation. And we will also need to focus only on the characteristics of land use zones. And the components that we have just gone through now are going to build up for a project, meaning that after covering this topic or this chapter under urban settlement, we will have a project that we will need to work on. Okay, so now let's move to week 4 and week 5. So we can see that under week 4 and week 5, we also have one and the same topic as week 3 and week 2. So in week 4 and week 5, we will cover one topic, and the topic that we are going to be covering will be land use on aerial photographs and large scale maps. Okay, so here we will need to understand what aerial photographs look like, and we will also need to understand the information from the aerial photos, which may include natural and constructed features. Again, after covering those components, this will also build up for the project that we will need to do. Okay, and then under week 5, as we can see, we will be identifying land uses in urban settlements. Okay, and we know that if we are talking about land uses in urban settlement, we will be talking about aerial photographs and large scale maps. Okay, again, the content that we just covered will also be used to build up for the project that we will need to do. Okay, and then after completing week 4 and week 5, we will then move to week 6 and week 7 and week 8. And during week 6, 7, and 8, we will be working on one chapter, which is called urbanization. So under week 6, we will start with the concept of urbanizations, meaning that we need to understand the concept of urbanization. So the concepts of urbanization, we need to understand why cities are growing. Okay, and we also need to review and extend from grade 6, which is why people live where they do. So this was covered in back in grade 6, so we will just be extending from what you have already learned back then, which is why people live where they do. Why do we live where we live? Okay, again, after completing these components, this will also add up to the project that we will need to do or to cover. Okay, and then after finishing week 6, we will then move to week 7, wherein we will be discussing the overview of urbanization in South Africa. So we will be discussing the overview of urbanization in South Africa, and this will include issues associated with apartheid population controls. Again, after finishing up this topic, this will then build up to the project that we will have to complete. And then last but not least, we will move to week 8, which also falls under the chapter urbanization. So here we will be dealing with social issues that are related to rapid growth of cities, such as housing and services provision. Again, after completing this, it will also be part of the project that we will need to do at the end of the term. Okay, so now we have basically covered what we will be doing from week 1 to week 8, and then after week 8 we will then move to week 9, wherein we will be dealing with revision. So this is basically revision, so we'll be revising everything that we've covered from week 1 to week 8. Okay, and we'll also be busy with the project. So we'll be given a project that covers everything from week 8, that covers everything from week 1 to week 8, and then between week 10 and week 11 we will then be busy with the formal assessment, which is the exam. So this will be our September exam. Okay, so that's the scope for social sciences for term 3. Again, guys, don't forget to like the video and share, as well as to subscribe to the channel so you can share with your friends so that they are also aware of what we will be covering this term.